Okay, the last example. So tickets for a concert are available at two prices. The more expensive tickets are $30. The more expensive ticket is $30 more than the cheaper one. Find the cost of each type of ticket if a group can buy 10 more of the cheaper tickets than the expensive ones for $1,800. Alright, so we've got to try and put together all of this information. We've got two types of tickets. We've got expensive ones and we've got cheap ones. So let's start by defining some variables. Let E equal the cost of an expensive ticket. And we'll let C equal the cost of a cheap ticket. Okay, so we've used the first bit of information about expensive tickets and cheap tickets. We also know that an expensive ticket is $30 more than a cheaper ticket. So that gives us our first equation that we can work with. An expensive ticket is equal to the cheap ticket plus an extra $30. We're going to call this equation 1. Find the cost of each type of ticket if a group can buy 10 more cheaper tickets than expensive ones for $1,800. Now this part got me thinking for a while, and I was having trouble doing it without adding an extra variable. But eventually I got to the space where I said, well, I know that $1,800 divided by C will give me the cost of each the number of cheap tickets that I can buy. Okay, so C is the cost, and then 1,800 is the total cost. So if I take the total cost, divide by the cost of a cheap ticket, then I work out how many tickets I purchase at the cheap price. Now for the same thing works for the expensive tickets. If I take the total amount of $1,800 and divide it by the expensive ticket, then I will have the number of expensive tickets. And I know that I can get 10 more tickets. So the number of tickets that I can buy at the expensive price plus 10 will be the same as the number of tickets that I can buy at the cheaper price. So that was a little bit tricky to get to that stage, but once I do, then I've got my equation that I'm trying to solve. I'm going to call this equation 2. So now I've got two equations and two unknowns. I can do some substitution to get an expression that only has one variable. And the variable that I'm going to use is C. Alright, so now I've got to try and solve this equation to find out what C is, and from there I can find out what E is. So I have to do some manipulation here. The first thing, recognise that this is a fraction. It's a tricky fraction, and I need to get a common denominator. So I can multiply that 10 by the C plus 30, and now I've got a common denominator of C plus 30. Then cross multiply. I feel like there's got to be an easier way of doing this, but this is where I'm at. So I've multiplied everything on the right hand side by C, and I've multiplied everything on the left hand side by C plus 30. That gets rid of the two denominators. So I've got 1,800C plus 30 times 1,800. Can't be bothered working that out yet, and I'm thinking that it's going to cancel out. Trying to talk and write at the same time is not working for me. Plus 10C squared plus 300C. All right, everything is a multiple of 10 here, so I'm going to do some cancelling out, and I'm just going to divide everything by 10. It gives me slightly smaller numbers, so 180C plus 3 times 1800, that's 2 times 18 is 36, and then 3 times 18 is 54, so that's 5,400. Now I've got a 180C on both sides, so if they are the same on both sides, I can cancel them out. And my equation is starting to look a little bit nicer. Okay, so rearrange to get everything on the same side and to make an equation that is equal to 0. From here, so this is going to work out what C is. I'm going to need to solve this equation. Can I factorise? Do I complete the square? What am I going to do? So if I look for two factors of 54 that add to give 30, and that's two factors of 5,400, I'm going to cheat this time. I don't like those numbers. I'm going straight to my calculator. So on my calculator, I need to solve. So tools, algebra. I know this looks a little bit different on the calculator. My equation, I'm going to replace the C with an X because it's easier for me to get. X squared minus 30X minus 5,400. Find out what X is. And I'm just going to double check that that's the right equation. It should have been plus 30, not minus 30. So in here, I need to plus 30. It says error. Oh. First argument of solve must be an equation or an inequality. Right, I have made a mistake. So go back here, highlight that. I haven't said what it's equal to. Rookie mistake. So I put in my equals 0. Hit enter. Now I've got minus 90 or 60. So that means the cost of my cheap tickets is minus 90 or $60. Can I have a cost of minus $90 for a ticket? No, I can't. So I exclude this. And I actually need to write that step, exclude minus 90. So a cheap ticket equals $60. So an expensive ticket equals $90. And I can just write C and E because I've already defined them up the top.